Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement. Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Get weekly football winners from Alex White, Chris Andrews, and Vinny Malulo.
I did take the dog 3.5.
I'm going to stay with the Colts here. That's definitely going to be one of my plays.
If the Bears have turned the corner, they have to take care of business in this game.
Yes.
Tune in for behind-the-book perspectives you won't find anywhere else.
Well, if you're looking to bet the under, you're going to get a better number.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
I know if it hits 7, don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
Is there a way to bet against both teams?
Get your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
Looking to bet smarter? Get sports betting insight and winning picks straight from the South Point Hotel and Casino.
I think we're going to get goals from both sides here. Give me over 5.5.
That is also one of my favorite plays of the weekend is the Colts -3 on the road.
So you're getting plus 130 here.
I mean, how can you go against Tusky?
Exactly.
Join Sports by the Book at 10 a.m. Pacific and bet your winning edge.
Hello, everyone, and welcome in another episode of Sports by the Book. We are live from the South Point Hotel and Casino sports betting show, trying to give you the best information, opening lines, closing lines, and of course, some best bets daily, 5 days a week. You can find us Monday through Thursday at 10 a.m. And Football Frenzy on Friday at noon. We appreciate everybody who has been with us from the very beginning. We're trying to make a push. We're saying it now. We're trying to get to that 2K mark here for our subscribers. So if you have been watching the shows, but you haven't hit that button yet, please do. It won't send you anything. Might just give you some notifications that we are going live if you put that and want that. So this is Sports by the Book. Alex White, Matt Neverett, and Ryan McCormick here on a Tuesday, as us three always are. Looking forward to this episode because if you know, we're going to dive into the week that is coming up in the NFL, and it is week 15. Let's try and be a little bit more buttoned up, guys, than that football game that we watched last night,
Oh,
right?
my goodness, especially at the end. I mean, that was hilarious. I mean, I think we were all in the same boat that I thought the game was over on that offsides, false start, whatever that snafu was at the end. I thought that was it. And then that tip, that pick, it looked even cooler in slow motion. That's one of those plays where you set it to the Pirates of the Caribbean music, and that adds even more drama.
It was pretty messy football all around. Ryan has some crazy Opta-stats for us because neither quarterback played great, but somehow the Chargers were able to get that win. So if you took the 2.5, or like Ryan did, he teased them up and he cashed that teaser that he gave out this weekend.
Yeah, final leg of the teaser was their survivor last night, so we got the winner there. But talking about last night's game specifically, a couple have never happened in NFL history. If you follow QBGami at QBGami on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Jalen Hurts was the first quarterback in NFL history to record the stat line that he did: 240 passing yards, no touchdown passes, and 4 interceptions. In the same vein with Jalen Hurts, this past week was the first time in NFL history that both of the previous year's starting quarterbacks in the Super Bowl had no passing touchdowns and at least 3 interceptions in the same week. That one you kind of need to, it's a pretty special stat there. But then the final one is about Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is the only quarterback in the Super Bowl era, per OptaStats, to complete under 50% of his passes in the game, throw for under 150 yards in the game, get sacked 7 or more times in the game, have multiple turnovers in the game, and yet still win said game.
Oh, and he's the first quarterback of the year to try to blow off a post-game interview as well. That was an interesting sequence there. Did I also see correctly that Jalen Hurts is the first player in recorded history to turn the ball over twice in one play? I believe I saw that.
Yeah.
Which, that you got to be trying to do that. That was just a weird sequence, and it broke the Monsters, Inc. broadcast, which I had some fun kind of flipping back and forth, although that play was more of a glitch than a play on the broadcast itself.
So what do we think about both of these teams moving forward? I mean, right now the Chargers are trying to chase down the Broncos for the division, but they're sitting pretty nicely in the playoffs. And the Eagles, I mean, right now they've got the East because the Cowboys coming off of that loss too. But really moving forward, I think it says a lot about their defenses, right? But still a lot of question marks offensively.
Yeah, definitely. And I think a lot of it, especially for LA, is about the health of Justin Herbert and keeping him healthy. And not only that, but peaking as they get into the playoffs, because they really could be a dangerous team if they get that defense figured out and the offense stays healthy, because they are really, really dangerous offensively. And that defense, if it can come around, could really be a weapon under a coaching style like Harbaugh as well in the playoffs. That's a benefit.
Well, we look at, Drew Dog's got the schedules up. We've got the Chargers, currently the number 5 seed in the AFC playoff picture. They're the top wildcard team, but they have 4 playoff games remaining on their schedule. They've got the Chiefs, as you see, the Cowboys, both on the road, as you see. Then they host the Texans, and then they finish the year in Denver. So if the Broncos manage to slip up and lose some games, that might be deciding the division, but that also might be the Chargers trying to get into playoff positioning. And then for the Eagles, they still have the Commanders twice left on their schedule. So they're sitting pretty at the top of the NFC East, as they got the Raiders, the Commanders, the Bills, and then the Commanders again. So that's
a 3-1 stretch of the worst, right?
It should be.
Man.
But, yeah, that locker room seems to be falling apart.
Yeah.
Quick.
Washington?
Philly.
Philly, yes. Well, it seemed like, I mean, they put together some good drives and looked like they were, playing well. And then it was just a lot of mistakes and a lot of turnovers there. Yeah. And we finally saw Saquon Barkley, which was nice, and A.J. Brown. So it looked like they were getting everybody involved, but just couldn't capitalize. And, I guess that says a lot about the Chargers' red zone defense, too.
Yeah, big time. Opportunistic at the very least.
Yes, they are. Yeah. Settled for a lot of field goals, which you like because it was a prime time.
Prime time unders and prime time field goal overs. Both of them hit last night. I'm telling you, especially that pick last night saved everybody on the under.
Yes, it did. It definitely
They don't
did.
call it under time, although last night might have been an exception.
Yes, very fortunate. But we do have a game this Thursday that might fit into that mold very well, and that is one of our games that we have for our poll, which we picked out 4, right, Ryan? 4 games, and we want to ask everybody which one they're looking forward to.
Yeah, we wanted to get your guys' thoughts on which game you are looking forward to the most this week in NFL Week 15. So division duels. The Falcons at the Buccaneers on Thursday night, Bills at Patriots on Sunday, Ravens at Bengals on Sunday, and then those Chargers that we just talked about in Kansas City taking on the Chiefs also on Sunday.
Huge game for the Chiefs. Their playoff hopes are definitely dwindling, and tough loss for them against the Texans. So.
Yeah, I've got opinions, believe it or not, on them and on that game.
Well, let's get to it. I know you've worked hard. You got a lot of trends for us, too.
I'm ready, as always.
So let's get into Week 15. We'll tell you where the line opened, where it is currently sitting here at the South Point, and then if we like anything as of now. So let's get right into it, starting with that Thursday night game. The Bucs, of course, coming off a loss to the Saints, but they should be getting some guys back. Even though it's a short week, they didn't rush them back in that game against New Orleans. But Mike Evans, McMillan, they may be coming back for this one. They are hosting the Falcons. The line opened 5.5 for Tampa Bay, now sitting at 4.5. So the bettors like the point there. Total 44.5.
And this is a rematch of that Week 1 matchup. Buccaneers won it 23-20, but it was Michael Penix starting at quarterback. Take how much talk you want in that. Buccaneers have lost 4 of their last 5 games straight up and have failed to cover the spread in any of those. But however, when it comes to divisional matchups, they've won 5 of their last 6 against the NFC South. So it depends which one of those trends you want to ride while they're still battling it out with the Panthers for the top of that division.
I think I like that second one. Desperate team there.
Yeah.
Ryan was going to say something about that.
Well, just if you do care about the jerseys the teams are wearing in this one, the Bucks will be wearing their creamsicles on Thursday night.
Yes, that's a bettable angle. No, I'm in. I'm kidding about the angle. Love the unis. Probably outside of the ones the Chargers wore last night, I still think that those are my favorite jerseys in the NFL, even with the Patriots throwback I'm wearing today. But I think the Buccaneers creamsicles top 3 of all time.
I do too. It's definitely top 3.
The white helmet's a great look.
Well, let's see what we've got for this second game. We'll keep it moving here with the Houston Texans. 9.5-point favorite at home against the Arizona Cardinals. Total 42. We know the Cardinals have been eliminated for 2 weeks now. In this one, seems like a lot of points. I think I'm about 8.5, so might be a little bit of value there, especially with the team that is so good defensively, but hasn't really put it all together offensively. Anything for you to look ahead early for this matchup?
I mean, you get 2 teams going 2 completely different directions. Texans winners of 5 in a row, including the statement victory last week against the Chiefs. Meanwhile, Cardinals have lost the last 5, 9 of their last 10. This is a tank year for them, no doubt about it. Big thing for me in this game is the total. It's right on that number of 42, which is, a very, very key number when it comes to the points. 7 of the last 8 Cardinals games have gone over that number, but 6 of the last 7 Texans games have gone under that number. So the book's right on the money, I think, when it comes to setting that total.
This one opened elsewhere in the market around 7, or at least the look-ahead line was at 7 for the Texans being favored. It's ballooned up to 9.5. Here's where it opened at the South Point. It's 10 in some spots. So I think it might be a little bit of an overreaction with how feisty the Cardinals have been on the road this year. Granted, they did get their ass beat last week by the Rams, but the Rams are a whole different beast. But pretty similar defenses that they'll be facing here this week against the Texans. So I think we're getting to the point where it might be a little too much, at least for me to play. But yeah, that was my thought there.
I'm with Ryan, and to your point there, Matt, I have been betting these Houston Texan games under, and mine will be 39.5. That is what I made it. So this is another one I'm looking to the under. It's not quite that big difference that I would like with 5 points, but points at a premium, low total here. I'd be looking at dog and under here.
I mean, the question here becomes whether or not the Cardinals defense bleeds like it did against the Rams last week, who puts up 42 points. This could be a big breakout game for the Texans. This may be a teasable total when it comes to the under, get it up some points. That may be where I'd take a look with this number really big. And you talk about the Cardinals tanking, perhaps. You're talking about a team that was not trying to tank in the Las Vegas Raiders, but they're having just an abysmal season, a year to forget, and they travel on the road to the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. The 2-11 Raiders have lost their last 7 games. This one opened Philly at 12.5, but actually getting bet to the Raiders now at 11. Do you think this move is because of that huge total scare, or the huge number rather, the huge spread scaring some people off of that 12.5?
Well, if we look, I think the last 5 weeks, the only team in the NFL that has scored less touchdowns than the Philadelphia Eagles is the Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh, no.
The Raiders have scored 7 touchdowns the last 5 weeks. The Eagles have scored 8. So, yeah, this total being at 38 makes a whole lot of sense.
That is hilarious. Yeah, by far the lowest total on the board, and this is an interesting game. It's a low total for a big spread. These ones are scary as hell to take a look at on either side.
I think it's really just, the Eagles, watching how they are playing, you can't really trust them to cover these big numbers, right? So the pros are just number grab here, even if it is the Las Vegas Raiders, but taking that 12.5 down to 11.
Kind of a blind bet there. Well, I got more on this next one. Jets-Jags, this one in Jacksonville. Actually a very intriguing matchup with the Jaguars looking to remain in the hunt for the AFC South lead. They've covered and won their last 4 games. 3 of those games they have won by 17 or more points. So the Jaguars, who are a big favorite in this one, again, 11.5 points here at South Point, they've won 3 of their last 4 games by 17 points or more. So while it is a big number, it is scary. They're also averaging over 30 points a game over the last 6 weeks. So this is a Jaguars team that comes in surging. The Jets, meanwhile, defensively have been atrocious. They've given up 28 points per game over the last 6 weeks, and every single team has scored more than 20. So for me, this is an overplay or nothing. And if you're a prop bettor, this is actually one that jumped right out to me. Travis Etienne, 6 touchdowns in the last 5 games. I take a look at him as an anytime touchdown scorer as well. Maybe throw that in a parlay if it's available in your jurisdiction.
All right.
I'm with you though on that over. I think this is going to move up for sure because I think it should be closer to 45 between these two. And I was kind of looking at the Jets game last week against the Dolphins. I didn't bet it, but I was leaning to an under there, and that was not staying under that total. So I think their defense can definitely give up some points. I think you can make a great point. We don't know what this Jags team really is. They continue to be undervalued. So we'll see if they can cover this big number. I would lean to taking the points, but I think the over is the better play.
Yeah, this one's interesting. I don't know. I mean, the Jets, since the trade deadline, have been maybe the worst team in the NFL defensively. They've been just awful since the acquisitions by other teams elsewhere since they gave it up.
I don't know. I mean, they were pretty bad before the trade deadline,
that's
and then
what I
they
mean.
got rid of their best guys, and it didn't get. I don't know. They're very bad defensively.
They were bad to start. Let's keep that in mind. It's not like we were talking about the '86 Bears.
Yes.
Well, you mentioned the Bears. We'll go to one team that is a pretty good defense in the Cleveland Browns and one that's not so good with Chicago Bears. Both teams coming in this one off a loss. Open Bears -7, total at 40. We have now seen a move to the Bears going up to 8, and the total has bounced a little bit, 40.5 up to 41, back down to 40.5, where we sit now at the South Point.
The big question is whether the Bears can get a lead and keep that lead right to cover this big number. By far the better team. We're seeing Cleveland come off of a loss to the Titans, just their second win of the year. So it would definitely be a lean that way. But the Browns have a way of kind of coming back, right? And you'd think that back door would be open.
And this is one I'm absolutely going to be keeping an eye on in terms of the numbers throughout the week. If this one that opened at 7.5 gets down to 7.5, this one gets to Chicago -7, I'm going to fire. I mean, if this can get down to a touchdown or better, I'm going to hit on it. I also think this is going to be a very popular teaser leg this week, taking the Bears down to, at this point, if you're taking a 6-point tease, down to 2. And again, if it gets down to 7, taking them down to 1. I think motivation, a huge factor for the Bears here. Ryan, as you know, tight game, division loss against the Packers last week. Not only that, they fell from the 1 seed to the 7 seed in the NFC with that one loss. It is so tightly bunched at the top of the NFC, so motivation absolutely going to be a factor here. The Bears need to win. They need to win with some style points as well, for sure.
I don't know if necessarily they need the style points, but they absolutely need to win, especially staring Green Bay in the face next week back at home in Chicago. So didn't get there with my Myles Garrett angle last week with the most sacked quarterback in the NFL with the Cam Ward-led Titans. He only got 1 sack. It was the only sack that the Browns had last week. But I do think it might be a little similar for the defensive line this week, as the Bears' offensive line has been able to do really well. Micah Parsons was a non-factor in the Bear game. But we'll go to a divisional matchup in the AFC East featuring Matt's New England Patriots, the 2-seed New England Patriots. But the Buffalo Bills on the road taking on the Patriots. Open the Bills -1 here at the South Point. We are now down to a pick'em, total at 49.5, where it stayed.
Really looking forward to this one, right? Huge division game between these two. This one's tough. I mean, you're basically just picking the winner here. I do have the Patriots as a 1-point favorite at home over Buffalo, but not enough for me to get involved, and I think the total is just right as well.
Yeah, numbers right on, and I think down to a pick 'em. I got the Patriots at 1.5 yesterday when it opened. This line has seen some pretty serious movement here early in the week, more so than a lot of other games. And we talk about the motivation factor. The Patriots coming off of a bye. They've got a 2-game lead right now over the Bills for that division, so they're trying to maintain that little arm's length that they've been able to get over the Bills, which is going to be huge over these last handful of weeks. Patriots surprising winners in Buffalo week 5, 23-20. I think the big thing in that game was that the Patriots allowed just under 4 yards a rush from this Bills offense that has really started to figure out the run game. So it's going to be strength on strength when it comes to the individual matchup as well. Like I said, I'm on the Patriots at plus points, and this is going to be another popular teaser leg, I think, taking the Patriots up to +6 or +7 if the line gets back there. And I think with the weather the way that it's supposed to be in the Northeast this week, I think this total may be a little bit high, but with Drake May in this offense and Josh Allen doing what he's doing this time of year, I think it's going to be tough to bet this one under.
We'll break this one down more in a little bit, so I'll save my thoughts for then.
Okay, and that is the second choice in our poll question, and then these next two are number 3, number 4 that we want you guys to pick out of. So big matchup here with the Ravens, kind of getting screwed in that Steelers game. Now they have to go to Cincinnati and take on a Bengals team that is still playing to try to get in the playoffs. Ravens 2.5. We know that their offense is still a mess. Total 51.5. Anything jump out to you, Matt?
This is a situation where familiarity breeds contempt. Bengals won big time at the Ravens 2 weeks ago. That game was the first time in the last 5 between these two that the game had gone under. Typically in the AFC North, you're expecting a lot of unders, but this one has been an over matchup, and the Ravens favored on the road despite their 4-9 ATS record. This is an interesting one with Joe Burrow looking as close to 100% as he's been all year, and we'll see if T. Higgins is available. He definitely looked a little woozy coming out of that game last week.
Yeah, I don't think he is going to be. Second time in concussion protocol, right? So might be a long
a mandated absence, right?
Yeah.
But they did not have him on Thanksgiving when they won 32-14. So the offenses are pretty much similar to what they would be or what they were 2 weeks ago.
That is a good point.
Well, let's go to the last option that we're giving people here with the AFC West matchup. We just saw the Chargers last night get a big win over the Super Bowl champs and the Eagles. Now they have a chance to do what the Cowboys did. They're taking on the defending. The runner-up champions of the Super Bowl, the Kansas City Chiefs. 4.5-point favorite. Kansas City is. So that tells you where their power rating still is, even though they are below 500 and the total 42.
I mean, what are the Chiefs at this point? For such a long time, they were the model of consistency, and now it's like, which Chiefs team are we going to get? Which I don't even want to say which Patrick Mahomes are we going to get, because he's been about the only steady presence on that team, and especially on the offense. And like for the Texans, a win over the Chiefs is a statement, but to what degree nowadays? It's an interesting conundrum that this Chiefs team finds themselves in, but I think with the coaching advantage that they'll have in a lot of games, they're going to be able to get things right before the playoffs. You would assume they're one of those teams, all they need to do is get a seat at the table and see what happens from there.
It makes it tough, though, with the Broncos and the Chargers.
Very much so.
Right now the Steelers are just pretty fortunate because the rest of their division stinks, right?
Yeah.
So the Chiefs, it's going to be tough for them.
Prior to the Chargers winning earlier this year, the Chiefs had won 7 straight, and the Chargers have not won in Kansas City since winning twice in the year of 2021.
Wow.
So it'll be a difficult task. It'll be similar defenses to what we saw last night. I do think the Chiefs defense is going to be able to step up, especially against this Chargers offensive line. So I do think we're going to get more of a defensive battle in this game. I don't know if the Chargers will be able to cover the Chiefs the same way the Texans were able to pull it off this past weekend, though.
And this total being bet down at open 43.5, already down to 42. So, Ryan, I think a lot of people on the same page as you. From one divisional matchup to another, this one not quite as sexy with two of the worst teams in the NFL, but still an interesting matchup. The Washington Commanders at the New York Football Giants. This one open 2.5 and staying right there. Total staying right where it is as well. My guess, Alex, is that this one's not getting a ton of action yet. This might be one that gets some play later in the week when people are trying to fill out the parlay cards or just try to find some bettable angles. 8 straight losses for the Commanders. It's the first time the Giants have been favored all season long. Welcome to the party, the New York Giants. Last time they were favored, I found this one, 20-17 loss against the Panthers in Germany last year, week 10. So it's been a while since the Giants have been favored at all.
I mean, it's pretty crazy because the Vikings were shut out 2 weeks ago, and then they turn around and shut out the Commanders, right? Kind of pushing Jaden Daniels maybe a little too soon out there, and then that injury.
In my medical opinion, I thought so.
It didn't look great this past week against that tough Vikings defense. So I would imagine we get Marcus Mariota again.
Probably. I mean, it's a little bit of a drop off, but we'll see how much. Just keep in mind, Commanders won this one 21-6 in week 1. They were a 6-point favorite in this one, and now they are a 2.5-point dog on the road later in the year. So funny kind of how those lines can flip. Remember all the momentum that Jaden Daniels had after the playoff run last year. The Commanders in a completely different spot now.
Yeah, much older defense. I think Ryan wants to jump in. He has some thoughts on this one.
What do you got?
Yeah, just for the Commanders, I don't think it's at all worth it to test Jaden Daniels in this game.
I don't think so either.
Going against this Giants defense, who is coming into this one off of a bye week. So they're going to be fully prepared for a divisional rivalry matchup. The one angle that I would like to point out that we did talk about last week on Football Frenzy, and Alex had kind of mentioned it a little bit. The Vikings got shut out, then proceeded to shut out these Commanders, and Chris had mentioned betting on teams that previously got shut out and against teams that did the shutting out, and that worked out last week. So you're going to get a healthy effort from the, well, not necessarily healthy, but at least some kind of more effort from the Commanders, especially in this division rivalry game.
Interesting. The shutout-y and the shutouter. That's how that works, right?
Yeah.
I'll have to ask Chris about that one.
Well, and I said it shouldn't be a huge drop or addition, right? Putting Jaden Daniels back in, you shouldn't be adding that many points to their power rating right now because those two had been performing relatively close, and people made the overreaction. Maybe this is another one.
They also lose Zach Ertz, so another key piece of their offense.
Yes,
that's tough. Yeah, bad year to be a fan of the Commies. We talked earlier about matchup with two teams going two completely different directions when it came to the Texans and the Cardinals. This one, next one, pretty similar to that as well. The Colts in an absolute free fall. They have lost 3 straight. They've lost 4 of their last 5. Daniel Jones out for the year with an Achilles tear, and now they have to travel across the country to take on the 10-3 surging Seattle Seahawks with Riley Leonard as the starting quarterback this week. So the Colts. Already 2.5 points on the movement, up to 13.5 for Seattle. And it's a bad time to be a Colts fan. The Seahawks, although winners of 3 straight, 7 of their last 8 as well. And the only loss over that stretch was by 2 on the road versus the Rams. The Seahawks also, how about this? Average winning margin over those 7 wins, 17.5 points. They're not just winning, they're dominating. And I think that happens again this week. And this one is going to be a big teaser leg as well, especially if it stays under 2 touchdowns. I'm not touching the points with a stick. Maybe a teaser one, but this is a huge number, but I think it's the right number.
2 teams at the very top of my power ratings. It's the Rams and then the Seahawks, and they've kind of been teetering the last couple weeks. I mean, they are very good, not just in the NFC, but league-wide. And Riley Leonard actually had a knee injury. I don't even know if he'll be good to go.
No.
So then we're really...
Phil Rivers, baby.
It looks like they did sign Phillip Rivers to their practice squad. Okay, Ryan, is that confirmed as of 25 minutes ago?
Yes.
44 years old.
Yeah. It sacrificed his Hall of Fame eligibility.
Yes.
The last year he played was 2020, so he would have been eligible in the next Hall of Fame voting. And he pushes that back another 5 years.
I'll tell you what, I'm 32 and I never played professional sports. My body couldn't handle going to play in the NFL right now.
44.
He's got 12 years on me and like 8 kids and a grandson, so I don't... Good for him. Grim times if you're a Colts fan. I mean, there's a number of guys on practice squads that I think that they probably could have signed if they didn't have the history. I mean, like Bailey Zappi, he's just hanging out. God forbid they take a chance on DJ Uiagalelei, who's on the Seahawks practice squad. There's got to be somebody on a practice squad somewhere that gives you a better shot than Phillip Rivers. I saw that yesterday and I was floored. Like, Tom Brady's probably in better shape than Phillip Rivers. Not that I heard Phil Rivers is staying in playing shape, but like, my God.
Yeah, the one guy that I kind of wished was able to get into the building for the Colts and get a tryout, and maybe shame on his agent, but is the Bishop Gorman Gale, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who didn't make the Eagles roster earlier this year after the preseason. So I would have liked to see him at least get an opportunity to get, but didn't get an invite. And Phillip Rivers obviously has the history with that organization. So
maybe just the familiarity with the offense. Last note for me on this game: I think the Seahawks are my second most underrated team in the NFL. The most underrated is coming up in this next game.
All right. The Green Bay Packers on the road in Denver. The Packers winners of 4 straight. The Broncos winners of 10 straight. The Broncos now the number 1 seed in the AFC are underdogs at home. Opened Packers -2. We are still there. Packers -2. Total opened 41.5. We are up to 43.5.
Go ahead, Matt. Take it over.
Denver's the most underrated team in the league, and that's saying something as a Patriots guy. They're 11-2. And they're home dogs against the Packers, who struggled to beat the Bears last week. And nothing against the Bears, Ryan, love you, but the Broncos are the most underrated team in the league right now. It's because they have not won sexy, especially the last couple of weeks. They won but did not cover against the Commanders and the Raiders. And every team's going to have a stretch like that where you don't cover and you win some close games against some inferior opponents on paper. I am shocked that this one is not closer to a pick'em. I am very, very surprised, and I would love to see what the look-ahead line was for this one coming into the season, because I'm sure it might have been the other way around. Like I said, I think that this spread right now is at least 2 points off. I could see it moving during the week for sure.
I did actually make my number for this. I have both the Packers and the Broncos with the exact same number.
So a pick, right?
So then you got to give the Broncos some home field. So they
Even
should
better.
be a small favorite at home here, in my opinion.
I am going to play the Broncos.
I
am
do
going to
like
tease
the
them
Broncos.
too.
Yeah.
This is a great tease leg.
Do you have value with streaks this long, Alex? The Broncos winners of 10 straight, Packers winners of 4.
You know, that's funny because we add for streaks in hockey and baseball, but
Not for the NFL.
no.
Okay.
Is it just because
Maybe
more of
I
the
have
nature of
to,
the schedule?
Maybe I need to ask about that.
Would you assume that's because of the nature of the schedule of those two versus the once a week games of football?
Yeah, I think so. Because,
Interesting.
it's like that hot scale and how teams are playing,
Yeah.
right? And you know how long, both of you, baseball and hockey is, right? And you kind
Yeah.
of go on those streaks and then kind of go the opposite way.
Well,
So-
I mean, those sports you play daily, and
Yeah.
you can absolutely play the momentum. And we got the caution from Chris last week, and really in the past,
Yes.
to not bet momentum, especially in this league,
Interesting.
because it does vary week to week. But yeah, impressive streaks from both teams.
I will just say, you might be onto something with the Broncos being underrated, but we've seen that the Packers have been the most overrated team
Yeah.
for the entire year. Like they have been the darlings for all the sharps. So that might play into this number as well.
All right, we'll go down to the NFC South. The Carolina Panthers, who are still the 2, but are able to get a win, and the Buccaneers lose. They'll take over that division lead, but they take on the Saints in New Orleans, who just pulled off the upset against the Buccaneers in Tampa. This one opened, but Panthers minus 2.5. We are still there at 2.5. This total opened 40.5. We are down a point to 39.5 now.
I thought this number was pretty crazy for the Panthers to only be 2. I
Way
did
too
make
low.
mine, and it's closer to a pick, so it's not great for what I have my power rating for the Panthers right now. But with that being said, they are coming off a bye week. The Saints are coming off of that win, so I would still lean even against the power rating to the Panthers being able to cover this 2.5 here.
Absolutely, yeah. They're coming off of that bye. Keep in mind they had played 13 straight weeks before that, so it was a much-needed bye. They're road favorites for just the second time in the last 3 seasons. It has not happened often for Bryce Young and company to where they're laying points on the road. Partially because they're surging. I'd say more so because the Saints are legitimately very forward-facing tanking for this next upcoming draft. And the thing is I wouldn't be surprised if they traded away that top pick. I'd be interested to see what they could get in return, because if you don't like Fernando Mendoza or Dante Moore, you might as well wait till further down in that first round. Saints also, as of late, have lost their last 3 games at home against the spread. They failed to cover the last 3 games ATS at home. And the Panthers, as far as the total in this one, the big trend that I found, Panthers games have gone under the last 3 times. It's 40.5 or lower. So right there on 40.5. I think this one does trend to an under. I think I said before the show kind of jokingly like a 17-13 final, 20-10. I do think the Panthers win. I think this one goes under. Carolina should be able to cover the 2.5. If you like that, take it early, because this one is going to surge over that field goal number throughout the week in my eyes.
You like that?
I do like that.
It might be a little bit of Joes versus pros, to be honest. I think that most public bettors are going to see 2.5 with the Panthers against the terrible Saints.
Yeah.
And want to jump in there. And then I think the Sharps are going to like the points, because you said they're tanking, but they just beat the Bucks.
Yeah.
So they're still playing hard. I don't know.
There is the motivation factor for the Panthers, too, tied for the division lead with the Buccaneers, who are going this
100%.
way.
Yes, that's true. You got to add that in for sure.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, let's keep it moving here. Let's go to the Lions versus the Rams. We are going to dive into this one as well, because this is a huge matchup in the NFC. The Lions catching 5.5. Where did this one open? I know Ryan put that for me. The Rams, 4.5. Now they are up to 5.5. Total has been bet up from 53.5 to 55.
Oh, my God.
Is that even high enough? I mean, the Rams are right now the quickest team, seconds per play in the NFL, and if the Lions can match them, we're going to see a lot of points here.
I literally have a note in my my notes for the show. If you like the over, bet it now. That was at 53.5 when I made these notes last night. I think 55 is probably about as high as you can go without really just plugging your nose and throwing some pizza money on there. Since week 10, both of these teams come in ranked top 5 in added EPA per play. Lions have gone over their last 5 games. They've also allowed 27 or more points in 4 of those 5 as well. This one screams over. But again, 55 is just such a hard number. That's not even a palatable one. Lions on the road, it's tough. I would lean Lions plus the points, but this one's going to be a high-scoring, high-flying affair for sure. The Goff-Stafford Bowl.
Yeah, well, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I know these two have already played. Ryan, did you want to save yours for when we really break it down? That is a yes there. Okay, let's go on. We've got one more game here before the big Sunday night game. So in that 1 o'clock window, The 49ers, 12.5-point favorite at home. They are also coming off a bye, probably a much-needed bye for that San Francisco team that has dealt with a lot of injuries. Still playing very well. The Titans coming off a big, meaningful win, I would think, because Cam Ward wanted to get that win over Shedeur Sanders and the Browns. Total 44.5. It has been bet up from 43.5.
Yeah, the Titans have gone over in 8 of their last 13, so they're not the worst over team in terms of an early week number, and it is such a huge number in terms of the spread. But the Titans ATS on the road this year, 3-3, not the worst bet.
Wow.
For one of the worst teams in the league, who actually is coming off of a big win, and the 49ers need this bye, I think mostly for Brock Purdy's sake. Got to get him off of his feet and let him just hang out for a week and let him go back to doing what he does this week against an inferior team. I kind of would lean Titans. I don't think the 49ers are going to be trying to show off too much on paper before we get into this late divisional part of the season. I wouldn't be surprised to see Tennessee keep this one close. And again, this is a great tease leg. These dog teases with the huge spreads, I've had a lot of success on. Like, you could get the Titans to 18.5 points. I think 2 touchdowns and a field goal loss, and you're still covering that. I actually don't hate the Titans as a tease, but I'm going to be staying away until later in the week, seeing how this one moves.
There is a 13 in the market, so it does look like we might be headed that way. So if you are trying to play as many points as possible with the Titans, it might be good to wait.
Hell, just wait until it gets to 14 and take it up to 20.
My power rating with the home field here is 14.5. And I think some other sharp bettors or some power rating bettors might have a similar number too, because the Titans are one of our lower teams, and even Chris Andrews is kind of fading them. But it's a lot of points, and they are playing better, and they've got some confidence now going in there. But it's the Niners off a bye.
I'd wait and tease. All right, the primetime games, my loves of the primetimes, unders and field goal overs. I think actually both of these Sunday and Monday nighters kind of lean towards that tremendously, both of those trends. Vikings at the Cowboys. This is a weird one. It opened Dallas -6.5, now down to 6 at home at Jerryland, 48 the total, right where it opened. How about this gauntlet of a schedule for the Vikings? Did some research into their schedule over the last 8 weeks, including this one. Seattle, Green Bay, Chicago, Baltimore, Detroit, Chargers, Commanders, and now Dallas on the road. You want to talk about a playoff type of schedule for a team that's trying to figure some stuff out. This is a weird matchup for me. One that screams under, one that screams field goal overs. I mean, this is kind of a Dallas team where they look great some weeks. They look not nearly as proficient other weeks. Kind of which team are you going to get playing at home?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you just kind of summed up what both of these teams are, right?
Yeah.
We're watching the Vikings come off a shutout win, and the week before they looked terrible. So this is a tough handicap between these two. I would probably go with Dallas, who I do think is the better offense. I just think that number is a little too high here at 6.
Yeah, I mean, this may be a look at the team total as well, because we've seen the Vikings defense be very vulnerable and Swiss cheese-like at times. However, I do think that this game does go under. I could see Dallas winning it by 20. I just don't think the Vikings are going to be able to put up a ton of points in this one.
I don't either. I have to agree with that.
This is one that I will be playing the angle that Chris pointed out last week of a team that did the shutting out in their next week. I think the Cowboys will be able to handle business, especially with them trying to keep pace and having the door open to win that NFC East.
Cowboys team total. That's what I would look at maybe later in the week as we get the injury report, but that could be an interesting angle. The Monday nighter, I'm actually very interested in. Dolphins at Steelers. Now, you got the angle of the Dolphins playing in cold weather. It's supposed to be, I think I saw like 20 degrees and snowing at Acrisure Stadium this weekend in downtown Pittsburgh. It's going to be a cold one across most of the Northeast. They're going to get like legitimately record-breaking cold temperatures over this weekend. So that's also a bettable angle on a lot of these games that are played in the Northeast this week. But believe it or not, the Dolphins have been the single hottest team in football offensively since week 10. They have the number 1 rushing attack in the league since then. We talked before the show. Tua's won a cold weather game already this year. And Miami, having won 4 in a row and 5 of their last 6, come in surging. It's shocking. But Mike McDaniel, don't let the kid get hot. He started to figure some things out with that offense, and especially in the running game, which is, I don't think, a development that I saw coming this week.
Well, we got to double check that, because I believe Achad might have gotten a little banged up in the last game. But extra time, right, to kind of rest up. We'll see if he's a go for Monday, but he has been tremendous for that Dolphins team. Right now, I don't have a play on this game. I've got 43.5 for the total, and I've got Steelers at 4. So nothing for me in this one. What are you thinking?
I mean, I've got to play by default on the field goals. Over 3.5 field goals. I know they offer it here at South Point just about every primetime game. I know most books will have it. I love the primetime field goal overs. It would have hit last. It's hit just about every primetime game in the last couple of weeks. And, not financial advice, whatever the disclaimer is, but I love it. I've had good luck on it every week.
This feels like the perfect matchup for that.
Exactly, yeah. Some of them lend themselves to it.
We'll dive into that one more as it comes and we get a little bit closer. Of course, we will go over at Football Frenzy on Friday with the bookmakers. And then again on Monday, Ryan and I will break it down and really look into some props, which might include the field goals because I think that might be the best way to go with these two, really. And the Steelers have one of the best kickers.
They do.
So have to always bring that up as well. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Any more thoughts from either of you for Week 15 before we go into our full-on breakdown?
No more bye
two
weeks.
Games?
Everyone's playing every week now, baby. This is real football. Getting cold.
All right, love it. And we're going to, let's take a quick 1-minute break. And when we come back, we're going to dive into two of our matchups that we did have on the poll question there. And then we will go into tonight's action. We've got some really good games on the hardwood. We've got some good hockey games, plenty to pick from. I might be staying away from overs from 6.5 as of right now. 2-1 on the whiteboard yesterday, but that over kind of killed me, was my one loss. But we're going to give you our best bets of the night coming up here shortly on Sports by the Book.
South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday Sports by the Book live from the South Point Hotel and Casino. Alex White, Matt Neverett, and Ryan McCormick here with you for the next 20 or so minutes. It is time. We are going to break down 2 of our NFL games coming up for this Week 15. No more buys, as Matt had mentioned earlier. And we also have a ticker trivia question live. So make sure and jump in the chat if you know the correct answer. Of course, ticker trivia brought to you by City Light Shine. You can find it at Lee's Liquor, Total Wine, and here at the South Point, there's also a promotion going on this month in December for a special City Light Shine. It is the Legends. So you have to, we'll give you more information about that, but it is a slot promotion. So, all right, let's get into it. I'm excited. We've got to talk about this AFC matchup here with Matt's team. He is a Patriots fan, and they are at top of the division, right behind the Broncos in the AFC, have that 2 seed right now. And the Bills are trying to chase them, coming off a big come from behind, I don't know, back and forth win there between the Bills and the Bengals, but they found a way to get it done. First, forced Joe Burrow to throw 2 interceptions late. Total 49.5. Matt, start us off. Why do you like the Patriots here at home to win and sweep the Bills this year?
I mean, that'd be huge. I mean, and storyline-wise, I like it because it happened earlier this year. 23-20 the win in Week 5 in Buffalo. The Patriots won that one despite their leading rusher, Travion Henderson, totaling 24 yards on 6 carries. So they did it without a running game, and they've really started to figure out the run game as the year has progressed. And as I mentioned, it is going to be cold this weekend in the entire East Coast. I think these are 2 teams who are having their best success rushing over the last handful of games as well. And that game, Week 5, I think, was the one that really opened a lot of people's eyes as to what this Patriots team under Mike Vrabel and Drake May this year was. And that was kind of when we started to see the steam, so to speak, on Drake May in terms of the MVP and in terms of his, I would say, presence on a national stage. I think this is a Patriots team that absolutely could beat the Bills twice. It's going to take a very, very focused performance coming off of a bye. I think Vrabel having 2 weeks to prepare for this one's massive also.
This is the 133rd meeting all time between these division rivals. The Patriots lead 80-51-1. It would be the third time in this rivalry's history that the Patriots would manage to win 3 times in a single calendar year: 1983, 2012, and could be the year 2025. Obviously, the last time did feature Tom Brady. And we've got a little bit... or that could be for those Drake May fans to kind of compare to Tom Brady, would be a little feather in his cap as well.
Is this the most consequential regular season game for the Patriots since Tom Brady left? I think it could be.
I think so. Definitely.
Solidify that you're back at the top of the division?
Absolutely. And I think that they're going to need to force turnovers in a game where I think the rushing attempts are going to be plenty. I don't think either of these quarterbacks is really going to be airing it out too much. And I think Josh Allen runs a ton. I think that he runs on a lot of design quarterback runs in the way that this weather's going to go.
Okay, that is the one point I was going to bring up, because in week 5, we did see Josh Allen have 2 passing touchdowns, 1 interception. I mean, he completed 71% of his passes. But after that, we saw, kind of the old Josh Allen making mistakes, right? We saw 9 total interceptions from that point to now last week, where we saw him kind of figure it out again, right? 3 passing touchdowns, no INTs, 78.6 passing completion percentage for Josh Allen last week. Can he play hero ball again here in the biggest game of the year so far for the Bills?
Well, and I think it's whoever is the more efficient team typically wins anyway. But I think in this one, it's whoever plays cleaner. Just looking at the box score from the last time these two matched up, the Bills turned the ball over 3 times and had 11 penalties for 90 yards. The Patriots in their own right, 8 penalties for 93 yards. So whoever's going to play a cleaner game is going to have the advantage, and the turnover battle is going to be the number one thing to keep an eye on, I think, especially if there's a fumble. Interceptions are going to happen. These are 2 teams that at some point or another are going to have to throw the ball, even despite the weather. But I think if there is a fumble, that could turn the game, especially if it's in the early stages. Momentum is going to be massive here.
It definitely is. And I think you just nailed it. Whoever plays a cleaner, more mistake-free game here, I've got to lean towards the Bills with the revenge. I just can't, as good as the Patriots are, and I really do think that they are a deserving team to be in the playoffs here in the AFC, but I just can't see him sweeping the Bills this year.
It is tough. It's tough to beat a team twice. It's absolutely tough to beat a team twice. The Patriots really stuffed the running game last time, under 4 yards a carry, as mentioned, for the Bills in that matchup. I don't know if that happens again. I think that the running attack is going to be at a premium for both of these sides.
James Cook is so good. And then, of course, when you add in Josh Allen using his legs as well. Ryan, what are you thinking on this one?
The cherry on top is available in this game for the New England Patriots. You win the division. You clinch it. It doesn't matter if you end up 12-5, tied with the Bills at the end of the year. You won both head-to-head games. You win the AFC East. Another added factor is if the Broncos and Patriots sit tied at the end of the year, the Broncos are the 1 seed, so the AFC would ultimately end up going through Denver. Stat for Josh Allen. This is the team that he's lost the most to in his NFL career. Obviously, he's faced the Dolphins, Jets, and Patriots more because they're in the same division, but he's lost to the Patriots more combined times than he's lost to the Dolphins and Jets. 7-7 in his career against the Patriots. Would be his first time losing 3 straight against the Patriots since his first 3 career games against the Patriots, which also featured Tom Brady as the Patriots quarterback. So another Drake May to Tom Brady comparison for any of our Pats fans out there. And another added note I wanted to make with the leader of the Patriots being Mike Vrabel. Vrabel went 15-1 as a player with the New England Patriots against the Buffalo Bills. Only loss was in Buffalo. He went 2-3 as the Tennessee Titans head coach against the Buffalo Bills. 2 of those 3 losses were in Buffalo. So Mike Vrabel has only suffered 1 home loss as going against the Buffalo Bills. I think the Patriots are going to have their number here, and they're going to win this game.
I mean, I think so as well. That is really interesting to hear because for such a long time, Tom Brady and the Patriots just owned the Bills and the rest of that division. But for whatever reason, it was always Buffalo that was kind of their punching bag, with Miami and the Jets as the thorn in the side constantly, no matter how hard or how bad those teams were record wise. So yeah, we'll see if that trend continues. And I think it's going to be a cold one. It's going to be a cold one anywhere on the East Coast, but especially up there in Foxborough.
I am glad you brought up the point. Both of these teams very good with their rushing attacks as of late, and I like how New England has figured theirs out. Definitely, as long as they keep going to Henderson there. But Drew Dog, it looks like we need Vinny because we've got two-way action. It is Matt and Ryan versus me, but that's okay. I'll take the more desperate team here with Buffalo because I do think that they know all of those factors that you just said about New England, and they are trying to chase down and get that number 1 seed in the division for sure.
Hungry dogs run faster, right?
That's right. All right, let's go to the second matchup that we have planned for everybody. Let's go to the Lions and the Rams. This should be a fantastic game here. The Rams from 4.5 up to 5.5. The Lions coming off a big win. Do we consider it a big win? I mean, we built it up, right? Because the Cowboys had just beaten the Eagles and the Chiefs. Now they were going to take down the Lions. The Lions found a way on Thursday night to get back in the win column. So what do we think here? You think that's too many points? Are you taking it with Dan Campbell's team and Jared Goff?
I mean, it may be too many points when all is said and done. It's hard to go against the Rams right now. And the Lions defense has been Swiss cheese, as I mentioned earlier. This total already being bet up to 55 scares me. I think if it does get into a shootout, the Rams are better prepared and better equipped to win in a shootout against an inferior defense like we've seen on paper so far this year from the Lions. If there is a coach in the NFL that can make a big switch week to week on the defense in terms of the motivation and the scheme, it is not Dan Campbell. It's Dan Campbell. But this one's crazy. And it's one of those ones where this matchup, just because of these two teams and the way they've been over the last couple of years, they always match up. They're always playing in consequential games. And so the storyline of Goff and Stafford is always brought up. And again, I say it often, I don't think that there's been a trade in the history of the NFL where it has worked out so well for both sides. The only thing missing for the Lions is a Super Bowl, but from where they were to where they are with Jared Goff, I don't think, A, anybody would have suspected that when that trade was made. And B, I don't think anybody would have thought that this trade has worked out as well as it has for both teams, especially the Rams.
Ryan?
This one, we've talked about the kind of the offenses in this one. They're the third and fourth best offenses in terms of point or yardage per game. The Lions are the only ones that are top 5 in passing yards per game and rush yards per game. And we know how prolific the Rams' passing offense is. Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, and then you add in Kyron Williams out of the backfield. But I do, as we all know, I like to bring in just the all-time numbers. So it's the 90th all-time meeting between these two. The Rams lead 45, 43, and 1. The Lions won the last 2 meetings, but have not won on the road against the Rams since 1993.
Oh, my goodness.
They never won while the Rams were in St. Louis. They did not get a win in St. Louis. Granted, the added point to that is that the Lions have been the host team for 14 of the last 18 meetings.
Ooh, how does that work out?
I don't know how that scheduling gets worked out. It just a weird quirk there that the Lions have been the host team in this rivalry. But I will be going with Sean McVay and his team to keep things rolling. They're sitting at the top of the NFC. They know they want to earn that 1 seed to make everybody go through LA. The Lions are going to be playing playoff football for the remainder of their schedule as they currently sit out of the postseason picture. So this will be an incredible game to watch. It will be a playoff atmosphere, but I will be going with Matthew Stafford's current team versus his former.
Well, let me ask you this, Alex, in terms of a power rating question that I have. The Rams, the Chargers, and the Raiders, probably the 3 worst home field advantages in the league in terms of other teams' fans being almost promoted to come to their games. Do you factor the home field any differently for those 3 teams because of that? Because I think this is one where there's going to be a lot of Honolulu blue in the seats. I don't know if the Rams have that typical home field advantage that you would normally factor in if it were at a different stadium.
I still give them two points here for being at home. So you're right. The other ones, the Chargers and the Raiders, are just 1.
Okay.
And that might be even generous. But But other teams have a little bit higher. I think 3.5 is the highest.
Who
that
is
I
that?
have.
Just out of curiosity.
Do you want to guess?
Seattle. Oh, Kansas City.
It's actually Baltimore, Detroit, and let me see where Seattle is. Seattle's only 2.5, but that is because the last 2 years they've been better on the road.
And
What's Green Bay's?
Detroit makes sense.
Green Bay, 2.5. Might need to be a little higher, huh?
Interesting.
I mean, be at least a 3.
That being said, I think that the Rams do win this one. That's interesting. Out of those 3 teams, that you have them as the highest home field advantage, and you give them the most points because of it. I also think if you're going to bet the over, do it at 55. Do it no higher. Keep in mind, though, that the Lions have gone over in their last 5 and have given up 27 or more points in 4 of their last 5 games as well. This one's going to be high flying. If you like points, this is the game for you, as it typically is between these two.
I'm going to give the Sports by the Book stamp of approval here with Ryan. I'm going to be on the favorite. That is my number, power rating wise, 5.5. I think that if you jumped in early with the 4.5, you got a good number here. But I do think the Rams can win this game by 7 points. They have been so consistent all year long. They're just clicking. Matthew Stafford having an MVP year. Devontae Adams just finds the end zones. I think he's leaving the end zone. He's leading the league right now in touchdowns. And the Lions, as good as they are, you've said it, not where they were just a year or 2 ago. They do have their flaws, definitely. So I think you're getting the more complete team, offense and defense here with Los Angeles. So I do like LA in this spot.
I'm on it. Let's do it.
And people are kind of holding the Lions in high regard because of what they did to the Cowboys last week. But just kind of recognize that the Cowboys, we all anticipated that Amon-Ra St. Brown was not playing in that game, even though he knew he was playing a couple days before that game. So the Lions offense is healthy. They will have everybody ready, well, except for Sam Laporta. But the offense in this game should be electric.
All right. So we're all kind of leaning there at that high total as well. There's got to be some other angles where you can play that one. Don't have to go over 55.
I'd like that. Yeah.
Maybe even just looking at the team totals, the Rams team total.
The Rams do force the third most, or have the third best turnover differential in the National Football League.
That's a big reason Stafford's protected the ball so well this year. Yeah.
So.
Well, and that's kind of where I'm at. Besides that loss to Carolina, I mean, they were just rolling. They won against Tampa Bay 34-7. It was a tight game against Seattle. But then San Francisco 42-26. So they've been playing their best ball as of late, with just a little hiccup there against Carolina. But
yeah, that was kind of a confounding loss, but they're rolling otherwise.
Yes, they are, definitely. All right, well, let's keep it moving here. Brian, what was our poll? Did we complete that and find out which game everybody's looking forward to?
Yeah, that we did. So which divisional matchup are you keying in on this weekend between Thursday Night Football between the Falcons and Bucks, the Sunday matchups between the AFC East, Bills and Patriots, AFC North, Ravens and Bengals, and the AFC West, Chargers and Chiefs? And our viewers are going with the game that we just keyed, the AFC East matchup between the Bills and the Patriots, 2 teams at the top, or near the top of the AFC.
There we go.
I had a feeling that would be the winner. What was the percentage?
Yeah,
on
one
that?
of those votes was mine, just so you guys know.
61% of our viewers.
It was that one was mine as well. I did jump in on that.
Stamp of approval?
Stamp
on the poll.
As well.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep it going. We got some really good games on the hardwood here. We got 2 of them in Madison Square Garden. First, Clemson and BYU. And then we've got number 18, Florida, and number 5, UConn. Any of you guys like anything in this? BYU is a pretty big favorite over Clemson. I was surprised, but
I'm surprised it's not higher, honestly.
You are?
Yeah, I mean, BYU's legit. I mean, they're big, they're physical. AJ DeBansta, I think, is the real deal, and is, as the year goes on, I think going to be number 1 pick in the draft next year. And they've had a lot of games on a neutral floor already. I can think of at least 4, including this one, that they've played on a site other than their own, where they're not the road team. And then this matchup, Florida-Connecticut, these are 2 teams that are facing off against each other a lot. And, I mean, these are 2 great matchups, 3:30 and 6 o'clock on ESPN. Those are the 2 with the most viewing, I would say, power tonight. One that I'm taking a look at coming out of the
really
Big Ten.
Quick, Matt,
yeah.
While we're on that Florida and Connecticut, because I just want to ask you, because if you look at Connecticut's schedule so far this year, I mean, their defense is legit, right? But then you also kind of compare the strength of schedules between these two, and Florida's definitely played the tougher of the two scheduling wise. But how much do we take from that? Because I mean, UConn, looking at their numbers, holding Illinois to 61, holding Kansas to 56. And then some of these smaller schools will take those out. But even in the loss to Arizona, they gave up just 71.
Yeah, and I'm looking at KenPom right now. Connecticut coming in 8-1 with the number 95 strength of schedule in the country. Florida at 5-3 has the number 7 strength of schedule in the country. So to your point, they have played a much tougher gauntlet to this point. Florida, the number 24 ranked offense, number 11 ranked defense. Connecticut, though, 16th on offense, 7th on defense, and they run the 326th fastest tempo in the country. That's at a 365. So they're going to want to slow things down. Florida so far running the 42nd fastest tempo in the country. So I think it's going to be a matter of who can get into their style of game in this one first. I think we typically, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but more often than not, you see the team that is able to slow it down has the advantage, especially early on, and more so even in these neutral sites.
Okay, good, because I was leaning to the under there, and that's what I wanted to hear. UConn be able to really control the pace there, and if their defense can and plus, this isn't last year's Florida team, right? Even if you use KenPom and you're looking at their shooting percentages, it's not quite the same. So they've struggled a little bit. Okay, what game were you looking at?
Well, taking a look in the Big Ten, Illinois at Ohio State in Columbus, and Ohio State a home dog. You don't typically see that there because they've won their last 7 games at home. The Buckeyes only a dog once this year. They won and covered in that game. I guess they covered and won, I guess is the right order for that. But catching the 3 points at home against an Illinois team that isn't, like we said with Florida, not quite what they've been in the past under Brad Underwood. I like Ohio State as a home dog. There's not many games tonight. There's even fewer games where there's a home dog, and I think this is really the only one where the line may be on the wrong side because you've got to give Ohio State as much of a home court advantage as just about anybody in the Big Ten.
I'm with you. I definitely think this could be when Ohio State keeps it close. Now, at home so far this year, they have failed to cover, but in their road games they have. So this could be a kind of moment they have to step up, right?
I just watched it move to 3. Literally just watched it move to 3 on the screen as well. So Ohio State going from 3.5 to 3, catching some points there. Take a look at the money line, plus 155, especially if you're a money line parlay player and you're looking to add some value to it. I like Ohio State to win this game outright against Illinois.
All right, I like the conviction there.
The way that the Big Ten schedule is set up is also so weird because there's 18 teams and they're going to have half the darn country in that conference eventually. What they do is they play a bunch of, their normal slate of non-cons. Then they play 2 conference games across the board. So we're going to see a lot of Big Ten on Big Ten action over these next couple of days. And then they go back and play some non-cons games, and then they come back and play the conference. That's how many darn teams are in the Big Ten. So this is kind of that weird slate. Sometimes you can catch a team off guard early in the season as they play the Sisters of the Blind, then go and play at Purdue, and then go back and play against whoever. This is kind of a weird part of the season scheduling-wise, and I think Ohio State playing at home is going to be able to take advantage of that.
So far, when Illinois has stepped up, right, and played those bigger teams, they did get a big win off of Tennessee, but UConn and Alabama, they did fall in those 2. So that could be a little bit of a letdown there, too. Beating Tennessee 75-62 coming into this matchup.
That's a big one as well.
So, yeah, I'm with you. I definitely like the points here with the Buckeyes. Anything from Villanova and Michigan? Michigan's just so good. I thought it was pretty fascinating. They're number 2 right now in the AP poll, but they're number 1 in the coaches poll. And a lot of time you should look at those coaches poll, right? Michigan's look so good. I lean to the full game over that 154, but how much is Villanova going to help out in that? I'm curious, and I need to find a Michigan team total.
Yeah, because I could
look at that over.
I could see Villanova keeping this one close, and by close I mean under like 13, 14 points. This one's going to be tough because of how good Michigan is, and I saw them in person at the Players Era. I saw Villanova in person early in the year when they played against BYU, and both very good teams. Michigan, biggest surprise in college basketball for many with the way that they were able to go out in the early part of the non-conference schedule and dominate. This is a big number to stay away from me. I think Villanova could keep it close, but it's going to be a matter of if they get into their style, like we said with Connecticut, and try to slow this one down. East Coast style, baby.
That is very true. They are 351st in pace right now. So
I knew they were slow. I didn't know they were that slow.
They're pretty slow this year, yeah. But it's weird because they're adjusted rating, they're better offensively than defensively.
It just means that they're efficient typically, right? They don't turn the ball over. And a lot of times I find in that too, in KenPom, is that teams that assist on a really high rate of their makes from the field also get bumped up in terms of the efficiency. There's a number that coaches look for. I think it's like 60% of your baskets, you want to come off of an assist from the floor. And Villanova, one of the best passing teams in the country, and they evidenced by that.
Very good. Yeah, they are.
I got one more.
74th. All right, one more smaller game.
Well, all the way down on the extras, baby. I mentioned not too many games, and of course I go and find one on the extras. But this is an intriguing line to me. Buffalo already up to 3. Wow, I got it at 1 earlier this morning, so this is a line that's certainly catching some steam on a road favorite. The Bulls at UMBC, 306-545, 306-546 is the rotation number if you're looking all the way down the board. Bulls, one of the best three-point shooting teams in the country. They're hot coming in, 8 wins in their 9 games this year. Daniel Freitag, the name to keep an eye out for. He's the leading scorer in the MAC with over 19 points a game. The Buffalo Bulls also have they have 3 players averaging over 15 points a game, so they're very efficient and productive offensive team. And UMBC on the defensive end, that while they've played a tougher schedule, they've routinely allowed 90-plus points this year. I don't think they'll be able to slow down this 8-1 Bulls team with some of the best scorers in the Mid-American Conference.
Very good.
And again, get it soon because this one opened at 1. Good luck.
Some of the best scorers, right? But that's weird. That total is actually going down, so maybe not expecting a lot from the other side.
Interesting.
Besides Buffalo.
Yeah, really.
Okay, that's it for us for the hardwood. Ryan, let's go to some hockey here. Was there anything that you liked? I really just found 3 favorites that are playing really good right now that I think should be a little bit higher. And that's what I was going to go with. Anything side or total for you on the schedule?
Well, I'll first kind of take you through that one game that I think you like to start it. So the best price you are going to get is minus 135 here for the Ottawa Senators against the New Jersey Devils. The Devils have lost 5 straight, have scored 1 goal in their last 3 games. And they're going to start a road trip here. So is that the best price you're going to get, 135, Alex?
I like that one a lot, but that kind of scares me because that, not the do factor, but I mean, they're going to be practicing hard, right? And
You would assume you score a goal,
they're
right?
going to be in trouble from the coaching staff there. So, might be intense here between these two, but the Senators are playing pretty good. They did lose 2 in a row coming into this one, but before that, they were starting to feel good, play good. So yeah, 135. I'm on Ottawa here in this one, and I Jacob Markstrom's been a little iffy. I trust Linus Ullmark on the other side.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll just keep going. The other 2 favorites I do like are the Canadians, and I'm going up against Tampa Bay in this one because. They are losers of 4 in a row.
Don't tell Dwayne Colucci.
That's good. I'm backing his
He's
team.
all over it.
This is their 4th game in 6 nights away. They were in Toronto. They lost that one 2-0. Now they have to play against the Canadians. I've never heard of this goalie that is playing tonight for Tampa Bay, so I'm blindly going up against that as well. But I took 10 cents off it. Still, I have the Canadians $1.70 at home. So.
And if you don't know a goalie, that means that they're trying to sneak one by everybody. Because if you 2 don't know who Halverstrom is, that's saying something with how tightly you guys monitor the board.
Well, I didn't ask Ryan. Maybe Ryan will jump in and help us with that one.
Oh, Ryan knows him from high school. Yeah.
Yeah. No. No. No, I agree with you. It's a stay away in the Lightning right now until they can get things back to form.
And then the last one is the Knights because they've won 4 in a row. We said, that overtime win with Carter Hart might have been a turning point for them, and now they've played really well in this road series. This is going to be probably the toughest, right, of all of them with the Islanders.
Yep.
And again, I'll issue my word of caution if you're going to be betting on VGK here in Las Vegas.
Maybe I'm gonna stay off of it.
I mean, it's still a good line, and I think with the way that they're winning, it's appropriately priced. You may be able to get a better line outside of the Nevada market. Just as if you have that as an option, take a look if you're ever going to bet on VGK. It's tough. It's even more so. It's more drastic when they're at home, I will say, because you get the jabroni's going to go to the game and they just want a ticket to wave around while they're watching it. So not the split is not as bad when they're on the road. I do think that 135 is an appropriate price on this game, no matter what.
But you just kind of. That is my number, 135. I don't have a difference. So I'm kind of reaching there with a 4-game win streak, giving some to the Knights. Where the other 2, I actually do have a pretty big difference on where the current line is and what my line is. So I'm not just adding in the losing or win streak there. So I'm going to stay away. Probably a good under, huh?
I do like that. 6 right now. My one question for you on the board, or 5.5 on that one, rather. My question for you guys, both of you guys, is 230 with the Avalanche too much to lay on the road in the nightcap on TNT tonight?
Best price you're going to get is just $2 here.
Wow. So yeah, that's a move. So action on the Preds.
I would not be playing the Predators here. So the Avalanche are on a road trip currently. They covered the puck line before they started the road trip. They lost the first game of the road trip, and then they won back-to-back games in this road trip, 3-2. Those were pretty tough-fought games against the Rangers and the Flyers. I don't think the Predators are that good, so I would more be inclined to taking the puck line, but only getting plus 115 for the Avalanche is honestly kind of telling, thinking that the Predators will be able to keep this one close.
Well, how about an under?
That loss was to the Islanders, right?
Yes.
Because that is why I'm kind of staying off of that one too. How about an under here with 6? I think that number's right. That's where I have it. But if you look at the medians for both of these two teams, Colorado on the road, 3 goals for, 2 goals against, and the Predators are the opposite, 2 goals for and 3 goals against. So that's 5. We could
even I can count that high.
Yeah, we could make a case for that there a little bit. Colorado fourth game in 6 nights, so maybe a little bit flat there.
A little bit winded. That's kind of the angle I was taking there. As a team on the road, playing some really, really hard-fought games against some of the best teams in the league. You know, maybe a little bit winded against an inferior Nashville team on paper.
I think Ryan likes a different puck line, though, that he found with the home team.
Yeah, and it is, again, the best price you're going to get in the market is here at the South Point, getting plus 150 in Philadelphia, taking on the Sharks. The Sharks did just win their last game, but they have not been good at starting streaks. And the Flyers lost 3-2 in a really tough fought match against those Avalanche. So I would like to see them get back in the win column, earn the 2 points by winning by at least 2 goals, getting the best price in the market here at the South Point, plus 150.
Ryan, I actually made it $2 for the Flyers at home, so it would only be that side for me as well. I think that's a pretty good play there. If you don't want to lay a juicy price like 175, take a little bit of that puck line. Anything else for you? I was leaning to the next game that's on the board, Pittsburgh and Anaheim going over that 6.5, but kind of staying away from those high totals as of right now. Both of their numbers, actually, the Pittsburgh is a 6. That's their median total that's been set this year, but the Ducks have been 6.5. Both of their medians are great. They definitely help out because 3 goals for, 3 to 4 goals against for the Ducks, and then 4 goals for Pittsburgh, 3 goals against. That is, we've seen some higher scoring games between these two, and that's why my total's closer to 7.
I blame the Penguins for being old. They're one of the oldest teams in the league, and that's my team. That's who I root for, but yeah, not always the fastest to the corners and the boards.
Well, and now they are going to be missing one of their veterans. Just can't remember who right now.
Who is?
Going to the IR, but okay, I think that's it for us, right?
I do have one more note, and it will be in Edmonton and Buffalo. We use Wager Talk to monitor the odds across the market, and this game lit up like a Christmas tree with a move to the over. So again, the best price you're going to get is here at the South Point on the total. 6.5 flat, laying 110. These two offenses have looked up. As I say it moves to over minus 120. Shouldn't have blinked.
It's almost like you want people to come down here and see Chris and the boys. And
absolutely.
I like that.
Yeah, I would still, I don't want to lay the 120 now. Because you do need 7 in this game, but these two offenses are very capable. The Oilers do look like they're getting things steered in the right direction, and I think they'll be able to steer the Sabres here. So.
Well, and on the road, the Sabres' median goals given up is 4, and Edmonton at home is 4 also, but they've started to score a lot more and win some at home too. So I'm with you. It would only be over for me, and that's with that 6.5 too. All right, let's do our ticker trivia question, and then we will give our final plays for this Tuesday. Ryan, will you read the question?
Yeah. So
let us know if we had any correct answers.
Yeah, ticker trivia presented by City Light Shine, available at Total Wine, Lee's Discount Liquor, and here at the South Point Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. It is also the Legends Edition bottle available as a giveaway here as the promo for the month of December here at the South Point. So if you come and play and earn some points, you'll end up earning a free bottle of City Light Shine. But on this date in sports history, December 9th, 1985, Hall of Fame wide receiver Jerry Rice began a record-setting streak of 274 consecutive games with a reception. What date did Rice's impressive streak end?
Oh, that's specific. Wasn't it like 04?
It was 04.
Ooh.
You want to take a guess at the month?
December?
September. Spanning an impressive 18 years, Rice's 274-game reception streak ended on September 19th, 2004, in a game between the Oakland Raiders, Rice's team at the time, and the Buffalo Bills. The next player, or the closest reception streak in NFL history, is by Hall of Fame tight end Tony Gonzalez, who had a 265-game reception streak.
Leave it to the Raiders to ruin a good thing.
Yep.
Do we have any guesses on that?
We actually did. We had JR get that one right.
JR?
And I believe we had one earlier in the episode as well. No, it looks like it was just JR. Yeah, JR got it right. Always good at the trivia.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He was a multi-month winner.
Multi-month?
Yeah.
Yes.
He
Attaboy,
kind of
JR.
dominated, yep.
All right, here we go. Let's go to our whiteboards here and give out our plays for this Tuesday, December 9th. Matt is going to kick it off as he always does.
I'm ready. Good luck reading my chicken scratch, everybody. But like I said, I got 2 plays on the hardwood tonight. I'm going with Ohio State catching points at home. This is now a money line play, or it's up to 3. Buffalo, give me the money line. This one's up to 3, so it may be a little bit too rich for my blood. -3 is what it's at now. I got it when it was a 1-point favorite for Buffalo on the road. And then my 3 plays in the NFL this week, at least as of right now, Patriots when they were +1.5. This one now closer to a pick 'em. I got the Broncos at +2 at home against Green Bay. I think the most underrated team by spread in the NFL. And the Panthers only laying 2.5 against New Orleans, coming off of a bye for Carolina and company. I may try to find a third leg to tease with the Patriots and the Broncos if they stay at a pick 'em or plus money, but that's all I got for right now. We'll see how those 2 hardwood plays work out for tonight.
Very good. I'm going to join you in one of those hardwood plates because I am also on Ohio State plus the 3 against Illinois. I do think they can keep it close. Kind of like you said, they are at home, right? And I think they should get some more home court in that one. I'm also going with an under. I forgot to write it on there. Dang it.
Who's the under?
We're going with Florida and UConn. I do think this is going to be defensive battle. Best number out there, 145.5 here in Vegas. I'm seeing some 146.5 potentially. Ooh. So I'll take 145.5 though. I do think UConn is going to clamp down here and not let Florida put up too many points. And then I'm going with 2 favorites with the Ottawa Senators at home, and I'm going with the Montreal Canadiens -112. And that's it for me. Ryan, what did you decide for your best bets for today?
Nothing on the hardwood for me, just hard water. Going with the Philadelphia Flyers -1.5, getting +155 here at the South Point. And then I will end up tying the Edmonton Oilers money line and the Colorado Avalanche money line together. Getting $2 for both of them, getting near even money there.
Love it.
2 big favorites.
Love it.
Forgot
Hey, week 15 in the NFL coming up. No more buys. We got a ton of divisional matchups. The playoffs are starting to shape into form. I love it. Best time of year to be an NFL fan, especially when you know the Steelers are going to finish 9-8 again, and Mike Tomlin's going to clap his way all the way to the bank.
Let's end with this. What's
Probably
the biggest surprise going into week 15? Somebody not being in the playoff race or somebody being ahead of the playoff race that you see?
I mean, kind of a surprise that the Chiefs are where they are, really folding, and again, just need to get a seat at the table and they'll be in. And this is as good as the AFC West has been over these last 5 or 6 years, so it's really going to be tough for them to make up that ground. I'm honestly surprised that they haven't been able to right the ship in a lot of ways at this point of the year.
My biggest thing is we're looking at both conferences in the NFL having at least one double-digit win team sitting out of the playoffs. So things will have to play out that way, but that is what I was kind of surprised by.
I think that just tells you how bad some of the teams at the bottom are, right?
Yeah.
With only 2 or 3 wins, where when going into the season, I think the lowest team total win total was 5.5. And we were like, you can't get 5 wins, right? Trying to make a case for the Giants and the Jets and some of these
tell
teams.
that to the Raiders coaching staff, yeah.
Well, theirs was even higher. I think theirs closed at 7. So
they're not winning 7.
So yeah, that'll be. Last year the Seahawks were left out with 10 wins. I don't remember if any AFC We're left out with
believe so.
double-digit wins. I don't either. So that's interesting. We'll have to follow that. All right, that's it for us for today. Just want to say thank you to our staff with Jerry, Sean, Vince, Drew Dog, and Ann. Thank you, you two. Always very prepared on Tuesdays with the trends and all the information we need for our NFL week coming up. So for Matt Neverett, for Ryan McCormick, I'm Alex White. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Remember, we're making a push here. We got to get to 2K by the end of the year, so please help make that possible. We appreciate everybody who joins us every day and jumps in and chats with us throughout the show. So we'll be back tomorrow. As always, this is Sports by the Book.